taken deep dives into Acorn and many different voting groups or sort of operatives, but why educators?
Well, I mean, we did a story a year ago on a teacher named Gabrielle Gipe in Sacramento, and that was just an absolute firestorm. Parents flooded the board meeting in Sacramento. This is 1 year ago last week, on around Labor Day, and the school board meeting was just very moving. It was very touching to see all the hundreds of what I call mama bears. And these are not Republican or Democrat necessarily people. These are just angry mothers. You don't mess with a mother's children. And this tape a year ago showed a self-described communist anarchist say he wants to F with your kids. He wants to give extra credit to go to Antifa rallies. So we dispatched our undercover journalists in the field and ran into these teachers in Fairfield County, Connecticut, and New York City, exposing what they really felt and what they really were doing. And the one in Greenwich school, this is an assistant principal, no low-level official. In fact, the assistant principal is tasked with hiring all the teachers. And he told our undercover journalist that he discriminates based upon religion and doesn't hire anyone over the age of 30. And now they've let him go. He's on leave. So that caused the Democrat Attorney General of Connecticut, the Democrat governor, and the Democrat U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal are all shockingly supporting Project Veritas in this case, launching investigations, which is the purpose of journalism. But it's also prompted outcries about our methods, Megyn. A lot of people attacking Project Veritas for secretly recording these people and setting them up, et cetera. We could get into that. But at the end of the day, you can see their lips moving. And this sort of journalism is necessary in a society where we don't know what is happening in our schools.
No one made him say what he said. He willingly said he discriminates against old people and he discriminates against Catholics, that he won't hire them because he believes they're more conservative. Whether that's true or not true, it's in terms of conservatives being more, or Catholics being more conservative and older people. It's illegal. It's illegal. So an investigation has to take place. They have no choice but to look into this. And I definitely want to talk about the tactics. I mean, I realize that they've always been controversial, but we always get something out of these videos that advances the discussion. So I don't know. I mean, I had the guys on from Fifth Column yesterday. Their objection was, I don't know. I'm paraphrasing, but seems mean, right? To sort of set somebody up thinking that they're going out on a date with some hot young gal. And it turns out she's working for James O'Keefe and this isn't a real date. What do you make of that?
Well, I think all journalists are confidence people. It's a common practice in journalism to deceive your subject in order to get truthful information out of them so that you can tell the truth to your audience. That's the purpose of journalism. And all journalists do it in some form or another. All journalists deceive their subject. There's a famous book by Janet Malcolm, an author who wrote that all journalists have been doing this for decades. And then the subject realizes that the journalist's purpose was to tell a story, not to help the subject. So, why we do this is because you can actually see their faces. You can actually see their lips moving. We don't ask you to trust us. Now, there was a press conference outside the school in Coscob. Parents were there. Every TV station in Connecticut was there. It was quite extraordinary for me because I'd never really done that before. And every TV station was asking me this question: why don't you release the full raw video? Why don't you talk about the name of the person who recorded this man? I said, you guys in media would never do that. You would never release the name of your source. In fact, if you read the New York Times and Washington Post, they give you no actual evidence. They don't give you any tape. They don't show you the way their sources are talking, the intonation in their voices. They ask you to trust them. These are newspapers now, by virtue of the fact that they're credible. And they ask you to trust them by virtue of the fact that they ought to be trusted. Veritas doesn't ask you to Veritas shows you the tape so you can see it for yourself. Imagine, Megyn, I had said, according to people familiar with the situation, an assistant principal in Greenwich is discriminating on people based upon their religion. You would say, show me the tape. You would say, I don't believe you, James. Show me the information. Of course you would say that. So what we're doing is more transparent than anyone else in media because the evidence is incontrovertible. You could hear Jeremy Boland's voice. You could see his face. And you could even hear the reporter asking the question. in that restaurant in Stamford, Connecticut, when he talked about not hiring people over the age of 30, which is what's causing this attorney general to launch a civil rights investigation.
And can we hear this one? Oh yeah, this one is clear. We'll play it for the people who didn't hear it yesterday. This is just one of the many sound bites with this Greenwich assistant principal of a K-5 elementary school talking about his hiring practices.
Have you had a lot of right-wingers applying?
No. But I haven't interviewed many because I feel like I'm able to screen it out.
How so?
I need younger. So because Greenwich pays very well, you get teachers from other districts who have been there for a long time that want to come to Greenwich. But if they're older, I'm not allowed to do that. But I can't tell them I'm not interviewing you because you're older. I just don't interview. So, like for one position, I think we had 30 applicants. So out of all those applicants, I don't think I interviewed anybody over the age of 30.
Because they would.
A couple of reasons, yeah. Because sometimes the older you get, the more set in your ways, the more conservative you get.
I'll never be able to change the teacher.
Which one?
The conservative one. Who's stuck in her ways. I'll never be able to fire her. I'll never be able to change her.
Never be able to fire her, never be able to change her. And of course, she would have to be changed being conservative. So let's get to the moment of confrontation. Because at some point, I mean, you're watching the video because this woman who was going out with him, you know, the journalist, she had more than one meeting with him. That was clear, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So there was more than one. And so then there comes the point where it's sort of like, you know, those old TV shows where the big reveal is James comes out and says, yo, I'm James O'Keefe and you've just been had, basically. So can I just ask you as a human, is that scary for you? Is your heart pumping? Is your adrenaline flowing?
Oh, like the Chris Hansen NBC To Catch a Predator, right? When he sits down with the guy and the guy thinks he's meeting with the girl and then Hansen shows up and says, I'm with Dateline NBC. No, it no longer makes me perhaps in the beginning my heart was beating at 140 beats per minute, but this is just what I do. And it's sort of surgical in the sense that you know, we have the iPad, we have the recording. You're talking about at the Bar Taco restaurant in Portchester, New York last week. I showed up, I walk into the restaurant, and I talk to this assistant principal, Jeremy Boland. I show him the tape, and I don't know if you have that moment queued up, but it's an extraordinary moment because their brains sort of freeze and they have this like mini stroke on camera. And sometimes the subject will react in a bizarre way. And I think Jeremy Boland said something to the effect of, you can't do this. You can't do this. He kept saying this to me. And I said, what do you mean I can't do it? He's like, you can't do this. I said, well,
we have that actually.
What are you going to do? So it was quite something.
Talk to you on the back end. Here it is.
Hi, you Jeremy Boland?
I am.
Assistant Principal, COSCOB.
How do we know this?
We know this because you're caught in a hidden camera video saying that you don't hire Catholics. Is it ethical to discriminate against people due to their religion?
This needs to stop.
This violates Connecticut law.
This needs to stop right now.
I'm sorry?
This needs to stop.
Why does it need to stop?
Because I'm telling you it needs to stop.
What are you going to do?
Why do I have to do anything? It needs to stop.
Well, I'm a journalist. I'm asking questions.
Okay.
So you want me to stop asking questions?
I didn't agree to this.
Well, you agreed to speak to this individual and tell her that you don't hire Catholics.
It's a private conversation.
It's a private conversation. So is it true that what you said, you don't hire
Do I need
Catholics?
to walk out?
I'm going to walk with you. Yeah. So
this needs to stop. You're hearing his internal voice like, please, God, let it stop.
Please stop. I mean, this is a really profound moment, though, because it says so much about everything. I mean, there's a lot to say. First of all, the first thing to say is after that happened, they called the police on me. This is the Portchester, New York police. 3 police officers escorted this man to his vehicle and threatened to arrest me for disorderly conduct.
One-party consent, right? One-party consent?
Well, of course, it's perfectly legal, but
Yeah.
it is one-party consent. There's nothing wrong with anything we did, and when they asked me to leave, I left. But they would never threaten News 12, Westchester, NBC4, Fox News. Police officers would never, ever threaten a journalist with arrest like they did to me. So that's the first thing. The second thing is he said it was a private conversation. But notice he didn't say that he didn't say those things.
Yeah,
he said, no, you got me in an unguarded moment. And of course, the whole purpose of investigative reporting is indeed to get people in unguarded moments, to expose the things that people want kept hidden. And these days, our media only trusts the experts, the authorized knowers. They will only report that which the powers that be want the people to know.
There is a growing sense of instability and uncertainty in America these days. The price of everything seems to be way up. Food prices, especially, have the nation reeling. But what if you could grow your own food? More and more people are doing this. Let me introduce you to ARC Seed Kits. If you're sitting there thinking, I don't know where to begin, this is where you begin. ARC Seed Kits is a family-owned and operated business providing heirloom seeds for over 13 years now. ARC Seeds wants to get heirloom seeds into every home in America. 99% of seeds sold today do not have the ability to reproduce. Only heirloom seeds can be harvested and regrown year after year. ARC's desire to equip every home in America with the ability to grow and harvest its own food led it to create the all-in-one seed kit. It's designed to grow calorie-dense vegetables and fruits to sustain any home at any time. This is so cool. You're even going to get a seed guide that will give you everything you need to know about growing and harvesting every variety included in the kit. For a limited time, we've partnered with ARC to offer a 10% discount code as well. So if you go to arcseedkits.com and enter MK Seeds, you will get your 10% discount code and be on your way to food and economic security, helping you, your family, and your community. Visit ARC seedkits.com to order your seed kits today. Use that code MK Seeds to get your discount. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.